Greetings, Sovereigns. Delarchius here from One More Turn Games, and I have something very exciting here for you today. You may see in the background, there are some boxes, because I've just received the latest shipment of very nearly totally complete Ascendancy, and we're going to be doing an unboxing video for you. Check it out. Now, we have a few different versions of Ascendancy on offer, and I, tell you the truth, do not know which version I have in front of me. But I have my suspicions based on a few key details. So I've just opened this out of the box, and I'm going to be pulling off the telescoping box here. We've got some beautiful printed artwork on the outside. Love that white box. So the white tells me that this is not the all-in edition. The all-in edition of Ascendancy comes in a black UV printed box. Let's see. Opening up, I've got some plastic. So, right in the top there, looks like I've got the Ancestral Ledger. And this is like your achievement list. Looks pretty good. Feels nice. This is, it's not paper. It's actually made of plastic because we wanted this to hold up over the long haul. If you want to be checking off if you're a real completionist, you want to check off all of your accomplishments. You want to unlock everything in the whole game, playing the Legacy Light mode. You're going to mess with this, the Ancestral Ledger, which feels pretty nice. Then, of course, we've got some punch boards. And these, I want to say, are 1.5 millimeter. It might be 2. So you may have noticed that when I pulled off the telescopic box, that there was an inch or two of give on the bottom, or it wasn't totally flush. And that is purely for shipping reasons, with all of the superfluous cardboard and packing material in here, just to make sure that it survives the trip from the factory through the distributors. But once I get rid of all of this extra cardboard, like from the punch outs for the location tiles and the tokens and stuff, then everything fits perfectly. And these look really nice. I like the color. I think there might be like a little vinyl cover to this material. Feels great. We don't have that much punch. We're more bits and chits kind of a game. And of course our game trays. Speaking of, let's start looking at some of our game trays. This is a player board, and the first thing you might notice here with House Valis is the color of this plastic. So this is not final color. And once for noting that a few items in here are not the final mass production versions of everything that we're going to get. And the most notable thing is going to be some of the colors. Like here we have for House Valis is a little too Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for our liking. So we adjusted some of the colors, and they're coming in a little bit richer, darker. I'm no color expert. Now I have a nice little cover for my game trays for this player tray, and I've got all these slots for my Meeples to go in. I've got some cool text to unlock. This is for House Valis, and we have, of course, a comparable. This purple also looks a little strange to me. I know we've updated all the colors, but I just want to be making sure I'm comparing them. This is our purple House Rasputin, of course, the blue pirate faction, the Sky Pirates of House Roberts. It's a personal favorite of mine. And yeah, these lids, I know we've made some adjustments to the final version since this version. We really wanted, so the idea here is that you're filling out the your house board with all of your buildings and your tech cards and stuff, and that's going to be a major part of the storage. And when you store the game with all those cards in here, we wanted the cover to sit nicely on top of it, so that they're not sliding around when you pop this sucker back up on your shelf. But we didn't want it to be, prying off. So we tried to kind of reach a comfortable middle ground with the lids. And this version is good. I think the final version is better. Here we go. Let's look at the tracker tray. This is where you're going to track your loyalty, your upkeep, and your skill values. So this is another color issue that I'm aware of. I can see that a lot of the colors here are washed out. I believe that this as well has been fixed in the final version, but the tray itself feels great. We made some last minute adjustments to these slots where you're placing your stackers so that they kind of they fit a lot better than the last version. Makes them a lot harder to knock over, especially if you're playing, multiplayer game. You got a bunch of these stacked up on each other. Ooh, check these out. So now we've got our secret envelopes for our Nemesis player boards, our Nemesis characters. If you don't know, Nemesis characters in Ascendancy can replace regular players. So where you, as a human player, are going to be using your player board, Nemesis players are going to start with their little player board here that also functions in combat. And now, for spoiler phobes, I'm not going to reveal any of the major ones, but I will pull out just the first one that you interact with. And look at that. Look at that beautiful portrait of Belfry, the Archvisor. And this was another recent addition, this little slot in the bottom of these player boards. In the event that you should ever find yourself in combat with a Nemesis, which, you may, he slots perfectly. If you're a solo player, you got your combat units up here, and then you got him right over here. I won't show you the back, but I'm going to look at it really quick. Oh, wow. Amazing. Moving on, what else do we have? Here we got our district tray, and this feels like the real pride and joy of the game. This is classic game trays. If you've ever played a game with game trays before, you know that there is a significant kind of quality increase. And these lids fit, they kind of snap on a little bit. They come right off. These feel great. The inserts feel really durable. Wow. Yeah, love this. So another kind of note about the storage for the game is most of the cards, the chits, and the bits, not just for the player board where you're putting, I mentioned your buildings and your tech cards and stuff. Most of the bits in the game are stored in a tray just like this. I say most. All. Here we go. I'm looking at so it looks like I have the bottoms. These rings go on the bottom of the miniatures to kind of indicate which player color they belong to. So I think that might give away which version of the game I'm looking at here. So once we get down there, we can maybe explore what those miniatures are for. I'll leave that and look at some of these cards. Here we go. So this looks like scenario and role cards in this stack. Oh no, not just. We also have some creature cards. We got a tier 2 Hydra Viper here, which is a combination of a Hydra and a Viper. Better look out. They look good. Colors look great on these. Icons all came out really well. I know we were concerned with the cut around the perimeter of some of these cards, especially the scenario cards. It looks like that issue has been resolved. Then, of course, we have our champion stamina units. Here you can see a fortification unit, which is using stamina. So, really quick. So this is a creature, which is using dice. I'm not sure how well you can see this. But, so he's going to roll to make an attack. And there's what he's going to select based on what he rolls. He's going to maybe miss. He's going to maybe blind you. And when you attack him, he's going to roll a resist. And maybe nothing will happen. Or maybe he'll predict your attack and so on. That's a dice unit. Now, stamina units are player controlled. And they work on the stamina system, where they're never rolling dice. Instead, they're going to start, like fortification wall here, starts at 0 stamina. And then every turn, he's going to gain his per round stamina. And he's going to use stamina to pay for abilities. These two different types of units work really interestingly, in combination with each other, either one against the other, or you've tamed a creature and you have it on your side. A lot of interesting combat. It's kind of a sub-game inside of the game. Here we got our estate cards. These are going to be buildings. These are going to be Empire estate cards. We've got, of course, looks like some quests and tech cards. I really like the back with the house sigils on them. And now we're approaching some more little trays. These are our personalized house trays, personal storage trays. So if I'm playing red player, use that as an example because I think this color hasn't changed much. I get my red house board, and I also get my red storage tray. And I'm going to keep all my important bits. Now, for packing the game purposes, in this particular tray, it looks like we have standees. And these were a late addition to all of the deluxe component and, all of the deluxe miniatures and all-in versions of the game now come with the standees. We upgraded these very late in the process. If you followed our campaign, you may have noted that the old standees were very basic, kind of just template basic flags for the different houses, and now we have individual characters that are going to be joining you as your avatars on the map. These look really good. They fit in perfectly. Love that. Got all the colors here. We got some more chits and bits. Oh, here are my stackers in the blue tray. So I'd love to test these really quick. To get these onto the tracker. Oh, yeah. So the old version, these were much more rounded. These little slots where the stackers go. And they fell more often than we wanted them to. So the stackers themselves are now half-sized, half height from what they were. Oh yeah, these are great. Yeah, you could get way more of these up, and they're really barely moving. That bottom fits perfectly. Love that. I've got some wall pieces here for settlements, which I guess we'll get to. Making a mess. All right, we got more districts. This, of course, is the supply district. Looks great. That's where you're going to keep all of your wooden resource cubes. I've got my Empire district, and I really want to test the Meeples in there. So let me first look inside the green tray where I see my dice. Oh, love this. So we have special combat dice. Remember we talked before about the different kinds of units that some of them use dice. These dice have swords on them instead of numbers. We made some adjustments last minute. We were finding it was a little hard to view the difference between like 4, 5, 6 and simply moving the swords around, kind of alternating the direction they go in. Looks like these are a lot more readable at a glance, which I like. Then, of course, we have the shield dice, which is when they're making their resist rolls. Those are not regular pips. They look like little shields. Cool. And then our player color dice. These are awesome. These were, thanks to our backers on Kickstarter, these were special upgrades. These were stretch goals that we were able to add these to the core game. So I don't know how well you could see this on camera, but each of these have special pips. So blue has little eagles for House Roberts. Green has wolves for House Valis, and so on. I don't think they're going to read well on camera, but take my word, they look really cool. And this, oh boy, this is the first I'm seeing. The first player token. This is pretty cool. Wow. Even has a little silica gel packet, I guess. Something to do with the way this is printed. So this looks amazing. This feels really good. This is a nice, chunky wooden token to denote who has the crown. In our game, the first player doesn't work exactly the way that other games work. So if you have the crown, you have the highest loyalty, and then a lot of events and effects will specifically reference the crown. You know, you might get a benefit. Other players might get benefits against you. And you always go last when you have the crown as well. That's not true, strictly, because so you can have the crown, and then because we do reverse loyalty turn order, you would go last the first time, and then as loyalty scores shift, turn order can shift, but you have the crown until the next coronation. And if that was a lot to take in, we have a beautiful rule book that will break down everything for you that I think we will be getting to somewhere in the bottom of this box. Those are some of our chits and bits. What do we have here? We have settlements. So these are, in fact, using the colors that we don't like, but that's okay. I can see, so this is a tier 1 settlement. I'm going to place that onto the map. maybe I'm going to upgrade it to add these walls to use that fortification unit that we looked at before. These fit really well. I like that. And then finally, I have my tier 3 upgrade. Ooh, that slots in perfectly. Love that. Super cool. Doesn't snap or anything, but this is not going anywhere while I'm playing. This is sitting flat on the map. Very cool. Those are my settlement tokens. I have a lot more cards here. What do I have? I have items. I have events. So items in our game, really cool. That's an event. Items, when you use them, turn into scrap, which is then used for other stuff. Just trying to gloss over as much as I can. I have more estates and quests. I have tech cards. So these are the things that are going into your house trays. And still haven't found my meeples. So I'm going to set aside my District 4 while we look at... Oh, glory. I have here the miniature tray. This is really cool. Oh, I'm opening too many things at once. I have the minis tray, and this looks awesome. Oh my gosh. Check this out. So also has a lid. Love that. So these are the deluxe miniatures that come either with the all-in version or what I'm opening here, which is the Core Plus Deluxe Minis version. And I mean, look at these. They feel great. Wow. I've actually only touched and seen the 3D printed ones, which are like the quick and dirty. These are the molds are all finally completed. And these are the real nice sturdy ones. They're going to come with the game. Wow, these feel, it's like infinitely better than the old ones. Some of these had some really sharp points you may have seen in our last update, and just kind of checking on those. It looks like those have been resolved. We don't want these swords to deal damage IRL, right? Look at them. They're so cool. The best bit, I think, are the custom capital settlement towers. These are really awesome. So like when I'm playing House Rasputin, I get to use, instead of the simple tower here, if I have all-in or deluxe components, I get to use the full-on house-themed tower with the portal tree in the background. Really like that. Yeah, minis tray, extra cool. And then at the very bottom, we have our really sweet storage solution. Okay, so here's where I have my meeples. I'll just put some stuff on the ground. And these colors, I believe, are the final colors. Yeah, they look great. They feel great. These are wooden meeples. There's many different tiers. They all have different styles, and they have different white screen prints on them. They're all, this is the red player, Laborer, for example. You can see he's got his overalls and his shovel. And what I really wanted to test was how well they fit inside of the districts. So here's our district tray. You're going to place your workers in there. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. And this feels super sturdy as well. Yeah, love this. He goes right in. Now, because we're in District 4 here, we might be dealing with our mount meeples. Oh, yeah. So if I have my mount, everybody gets one mount at the beginning of the game. Does that go in? That fits perfectly. Oh my goodness, they've finally done it. Incredible. And I want to make sure that this royal advisor... Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. He rides the horse. Incredible. So I'm going to move adventure. What are you doing? Your turn to place. Really cool. We've got our translucent cubes here, and I think this is something that we're still going back and forth with Factory about. So the yellow cubes work really well for stamina. Remember we talked about our stamina units? So those goes right on top here to track the stamina, and you move it as you gain and lose stamina. But the black cubes are meant for munitions on war machines, and they work quite similarly, where whenever you attack with a war machine, it loses its munitions. But these cubes are maybe a little too dark for our purposes. Tough to tell. This light, they actually look quite clear and nice, but So that's something that we may be adjusting. I think it's not something that we will seek to further delay the game over, but it is now. It would be nice. We've got damage crystals, and these are upgraded since the last time I saw them. So last time they were translucent, and they looked a little crystally, but these, wow, yeah, these are opaque. They're nice, chunky damage crystals to show me who has taken damage. Champions and enemy creatures, as well as Nemesis, will always retain their damage in between battles, can be healed. Here we got our Nemesis player standees. These are a little bigger in diameter. These, I mean, the standees, check out our last update. They look really cool. I've got some special resource cubes. These are going to be stored in the supply district, all nice and neat. Right, well, the purple and the white ones will be stored in the academy district, of course. But you don't need to have any baggies of stuff in our game. Everything goes into the trays. One of my favorite parts. This is a spoiler alert. No, this is like a pay no attention to the man behind the curtain thing. Foreteller is not presently available for Ascendancy, but take from that what you will. Here is, ooh. Oh, well, this is a combination. This is just a blank piece of paper. No need for that. These are our like reminder sheets. There's 4 of these. This was another upgrade. And this, wow, tactile. These really feel incredible. So similar to the achievements list, the ancestral ledger that we looked at early. Oh, I lost focus. That we looked at early. This is your reminder sheet of what all the district actions do and of what all your available instant actions are. This is not made of paper. This is made of plastic. It feels very durable. I can also feel the text printed on it. It's like very, very slightly raised enough to sense just with the tip of my finger. Awesome. And now, le pièce de résistance. We have the books. Could not tell you how much time and energy went into these books. If you've been following, you may be aware of how complicated this game is, how tricky it can be to kind of master all of the ins and outs. You know, once you get to the point of developing your build strategies and stuff, you'll really have an idea of everything that's available, that everything is upgradable, everything interacts in novel ways, and because of that, having to explain how everything works is really an intense amount of work to get this thing designed, to get it all tight. And we have covered every question you could ever have about this game in this book. Obviously, I don't want to say, for guaranteed certainty. It is possible that there are things that we've missed, but we have done extensive play testing, and we really just went into this with an eye of, we want you to be able to find the answer to your question no matter what your question is. So in our years of development, and especially in the year since our Kickstarter campaign, we kind of took every FAQ that popped up, and we made absolutely certain that there is a definitive answer in this book. There is a keyword glossary at the end, of course, because we also want you to be able to quick look up stuff. There is quite a lot of things pointing to other things. So if you come in here to the keyword glossary and you want to learn what resist is, this will then point you to the dedicated resist section. And if you're not the kind of person who's excited about such a well-wrought book, then I'm also, I believe, able to officially state that we will have a clickable digital rule source that will be very easy to navigate. You just pull up on your phone while you're playing. We'll have a lot of convenient buttons for like quick reference. You just click, I'm in combat. How does combat work? Here are a bunch of keywords I might care about. Let me read the quick, easy breakdown. And then the scenario booklet, because Ascendancy is a scenario-based game, so you're always going to be playing a scenario. We have a very serious tutorial in here. If you've never played before, you don't have to learn anything. All you have to do is go through this tutorial step by step, and it's going to teach you everything you need to know about the game. And it's going to do that in universe with character voices and twists and turns. It's really great. We've gotten a lot of compliments about the tutorial system. I'm very proud of it. That's your scenario book. These books feel really nice. And I think finally, last but not least, we have the map. And because I am looking at the core game plus miniatures, we got a double-sided map here, of course. And if you're looking at it and you're saying, what's the difference, Delarchius? I can tell you that the difference is all of these mountains and connecting points will change depending on which side of the map you're using. And some scenarios will want to use one side and some will want to use the other. The deluxe components and all in will come with a neoprene map that I'm here to tell you looks incredible. Love that thing. As well as it's got some metal coins. It's got a whole bunch of special upgraded chits and bits that we don't have in here in our core game plus miniatures. But this still feels really good. Everything in it feels sturdy and it's still improving. The next version is the final version, the one that's going to get to your doors. We're going to fix a couple of the color issues that we talked about, a couple of the lid issues. This is what you're getting inside of the Ascendancy box. Thank you all for watching. See you soon. I've been Delarchius. Have a great day.